Keith, welcome to the show, man. Lay It On, my new podcast. Honor to have you on here, bud. For folks who don't know Keith, Keith is a bit of a legend himself here. Surfer, video maker, survivor of two brothers, California waterman, just an overall worldly beautiful person who I had the opportunity to meet the first time out in California on a pig hunt. Maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we won't. But Keith, welcome to the show, bud.
Thanks, Brad. I'm so happy to be here with you and talk with you. I'm definitely a fan of yours, and especially since we hung out. The more we got to hang out, and then I really kind of started looking into everything you do, and I love it. And I'm just super happy to be here and chit chat with you, and looking forward to the next adventure with you as well.
Yeah, same, bud. And thank you. Very kind words, man. And yeah, we had a blast hanging out there on some big old monster ranch, shooting and cooking some pigs. But maybe we'll dive into that. But I wanted to say thank you again for joining and dig in a little bit about I feel like most folks might know you for surfing. You've had a pretty extensive career. But before all that, man, did you grow up in what part of the United? I'm assuming you grew up in the United States.
Yes. So I was a lucky kid. I grew up in Ojai, California, which is like a couple hours north of LA. And my brothers and I, we grew up actually about 40 minutes from the beach in this cool little valley. We had a lucky childhood. I mean, just like a great little town, beautiful, and then, drive down out of the canyon and you're at the beach in half an hour. I think it's a little interesting though, because I think a lot of the kids that grow up and pursue surfing and get and do well, maybe they're closer to the beach. But my brothers and I were a little bit ways from the ocean, so that made us even love it more, I think. And so we were always kind of like infatuated with the ocean.
So I guess you had to work a little harder for it too, right? I mean, it is a little bit more. 40 minutes ain't bad. I know a lot of folks do a bit more, right? But it is a nice little chunk, It's a little harder to get there for first light or something.
Yeah, it's like you can't just ride the bike to the beach, and you got to wait when you're young for your parents to take you down there. And we were a little bit late to the game if we're going to talk about surfing. A lot of the guys were competing at 10, 11, 12, 13, and me and my brothers were camping out at the beach, but not a little bit behind just because of, I think, where we grew up in proximity to the ocean. But like I said, it was a kind of a blessing in disguise because it was so special for us.
You were tucked away a little bit more back in the woods then.
Exactly. In the back.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah.
So before that, so you had two brothers, if I recall, right?
Yes. So oldest brother, Chris, middle brother, Keith, that's me. Dan is the youngest. And then we actually have a little sister, Mary. She's the youngest.
Oh, amazing.
Out of all of us. Yes.
Gotcha. Big old full family, man.
Yeah.
So spread out by a bunch of years then, or?
Yeah. So Chris and I are about 2 years. Dan's about 3 years. And then my little sister, Mary, is another 4 years behind, I think.
Yeah, I got two boys now that are 9 and 7. Best friends, but they I had a sister. They're best friends, but man, they do fight. And did you being one of many there? Did you guys was it a similar situation?
Good question. So we of course we argued and scrapped a little, but like my dad didn't allow it really. And it's kind of because I have kids too, and I'm like, I don't allow it either, but they still get pretty scrappy. But we would argue on things, but we never, like, you think three brothers, sometimes you end up duking it out. We really didn't do that. We get on each other's nerves, and
Sure.
I'd wake up in the morning. My older brother Chris would have like lodged a dog bone in my cheek, and I wake up and he like,
Yeah.
in my mouth.
Yeah, normal shenanigans.
Or like another one, he'd come home with his friends late at night. It'd be like 2 a.m, and they'd go in my room and wake me up and go, Dawn Patrol, get in the car. We're leaving to go surf before the sun rises. And so I'd get on my shit in the middle of the night and get in the car and wake up in the car and being like, it's 2 a.m. And like, you know, you pull pranks and things like that on your siblings. But like I said, it never came to knockout blows with us. We were actually pretty darn good buds and surprisingly got along really well.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing, man. So you guys all go to the same high school? Was like what was that like? Was he a good school? Was school a pleasant experience for you?
So yeah, we were in Ojai, and then the coastal town there is Ventura, and we ended up going to high school there. Part of the reason was because we wanted to surf, and then that get us down to the coast, and we all went to St. Bonaventure, this little Catholic high school in Ventura, and interesting. Like I was not great at school at all, and so for me, school was about playing with my friends and hanging out with everybody. But it was, you know, it's tough when you're not great academically, you know. And so I think my brothers and I were kind of counting down the days to get out of school. Although brother Chris he's pretty smart cat. And, I mean, all of us in our ways figured things out, you know. But we had fun, you know, but, you know, once we hit high school age, we weren't playing sports in high school. We were pretty darn focused on surfing. So
Surfing was king.
It was kind of check in and check out of school and get it done. And then, you know, we were kind of on the road. At that age, we were already traveling for surfing and missing school.
Oh, is that right?
Things like that. At the same time, it was, yeah, I mean, it was good experience. And yeah, I mean, we were home enough to like complete high school, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you guys surfing was, I mean, that sounded like it was kind of, it was the game for you guys. I mean, it was, started pretty early in the water then.
Yeah.
What time was your parents into the water? I mean, were they?
Yeah. So my dad, he grew up in Topanga Canyon, a little further south. Are you kind of familiar with Ojai and Topanga and all these places, or not really?
Nah, man, I'm a little dim with stuff like that. I mean, when you, the state, when you described it, I'm good at gauging distances, I think.
Yeah.
But
no, okay.
I don't know all the names and stuff.
Got it. And so if you were to ask me about the East Coast, I would be cross-eyed. I would know where I was.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah. So, anyways, my dad grew up just north of LA in Topanga Canyon, and Topanga's a great little surf wave. But his family was all construction, and none of them that was surfers, but my dad ended up being a surfer. So yeah, he loved it since he was a youngster.
Was he good?
Was he good?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good surfer for sure. Yeah. He didn't, you know, and he ended up moving to Maui for a few years and surfing over there too. And yeah, he was a great stylish longboarder, you know.
Okay.
Didn't take it to extremes, just kind of enjoyed it and loved it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And so, you know,
Jesus Christ, you crazy guys.
Yeah. So then my mother she's like the beach, but wasn't a surfer. But yeah, when we were youngsters, their favorite thing was to load up the old VW van and take us all to the beach and hang out all day, you know? And so,
it sounds like a movie.
So that was like an easy in for us, considering. And then for my dad too, surfing was kind of, you know, for his father didn't really get surfing, and his older brothers too were kind of giving him shit about it. So when we got into it, he was like, yeah, you should do this if you love it. Like he had like, you know, kind of a bad experience with his elders. So he was kind of the opposite with us, but definitely like just enjoy the beach. He wasn't like, you need to surf, you need to do this. It was just like, here it is, have fun. If you want to do it, I'll help you. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, man. Listen, I suck at surfing, and I hardly do it anymore. But I do love it. My God. But my kid's 9 and 7, and I know some kids are, you know, already freaking ripping down a line at that age, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they've never, you know, they're just getting. But I don't want to force anything on them or make them want to, you know. Just I think when they get to the time where they're give me the board, and you know, I gave they were boogie boarding a little, and it wasn't a good wave but they wanted to do it, and it was like this beach break, and I'll never forget the look in his eyes where Callan, he just got like lifted up and just, I mean, it was a small wave, but he's a small kid, you know,
yeah,
and it was enough to like let him see, like, he was like, he was white knuckling the fucking thing and just got slammed into the sand, and like, he loves the ocean now, but I mean, I remember that first time too, kind of like going, I don't want to like get him gun shy,
For sure. So that's for me as well. Like, and I love teaching and surfing and everything, but I got my own kids and I'm like, okay, I don't want to push them too much. I just want to let them have fun. And, and then you're like, oh no, if they get that bad wipeout, they might not want to go back out there for a month. And so it's of course inside I'm like, oh God, I want them to all surf with me. And they all do. And then some days I like kind of want to push them and I'm like, I'm just going to leave them alone. They can do whatever they want. We're going to go to the beach. And because when I was little, my dad didn't push me. I'd be skimboarding, I'd be boogie boarding, I'd be body surfing. And at some point in the day, I'd take out a board and catch a few waves and got to keep it fun for them. And then
it's got to be fun, right?
That's the most important thing. And I mean, my oldest daughter, Millie, she's incredible with horses and dogs, and she's like an animal person, and she surfs, and she's a good little surfer, but I could easily see her going into that, horsemanship or dog training or whatever it might be. And who knows how it's going to pan out. As long as I can hang at the beach with my kids and they're going to have to do it because that's where I'm going to take them. So hopefully,
luckily it's a timeless thing, right?
Exactly.
I mean, well, the ocean and being by water, it's pretty human. It's as human as food.
When did you start surfing? Tell me about your experience. With surfing.
Not until later, man. I'll give you a quick little cliff notes, but it was when I moved to New York. I was probably 28, and my buddy Pat, who we were both living in Brooklyn, he had a van, and he's a real cool dude. Shout out to Pat O'Malley. He shot my cookbook.
Nice.
And he was from Nebraska, and he never surfed before. He was a big fucking caduke like me, 6'4". And we went out to what was it, like Rockaway Surf Shop or something out there, and we bought these like foam, boards, not foam. They were like, it was a hard glass board, but it was just like this big, like, Chinese blank type of thing. I forget.
Pop
they were
out,
like
the pop out.
Yeah, it was just this big log, Big Blue, I named her,
Yeah.
and she was fucking great, man. That's where I like fell in love with it. Like, caught my first wave. But we sucked. He got better than me. He still is for sure. That's where I started and fell in love with it. And he would drive us out to like Rockaway or Robert Moses or I really liked what the fuck, I'm having a brain, what's it called, Long Beach out there, like, where all the streets have state names, and I think Georgia was a cool one, and it was all like jetty kind of little ripping. I had a blast. I had horrible wipeouts where I probably should have broke ribs or my neck or something, but I also had some fucking sweet ones, and I love it, man.
I mean, that's the goal, is like, in my opinion, my saying is whoever has the most fun win, I mean, whoever has the most fun wins, because it's just like, that's what it's all about. That's what you're out there for. Doesn't matter on your what level you're at. In ways like those early days of learning, and you're able to learn more as you're getting started, and that's kind of can be some of the funnest times in surfing. Yeah. And that's why I enjoy like teaching people how to surf and stuff, to see that happiness and that big smile on their face after a ride. I mean, that's what we're all out there for.
Oh, it's what it's all about, man, right? With anything, especially surfing. But when you and all three were surfing.
Yep.
And so that was pretty early, and you guys got into being, I guess, pretty competitive. Were we talking short board, long board, everything?
We all were riding thrusters by the time we were in our late teens. As youngsters, we were still riding some single fins and things. I think that's just because my dad rode single fins and kind of wanted us to get the basics of riding waves before we moved on to the thrusters and stuff. But yeah, so my brother Dan and I, he's the younger one, we both kind of ended up doing really well in all the amateur contests and things like that. And it was, and then my oldest brother Chris, he didn't care for contests so much, and he graduated high school and moved straight to Hawaii because he wanted to surf some big waves. So he got
he was a big wave guy.
Yeah, he was kind of big wave guy, very solid surfer all the way around, but like just didn't have the competitive
Yeah, I get it.
bug like that. And then so Dan and I, you know, we did well in the contest, and then yeah, by the time we were in high school, we were on the like U.S. national team and traveling around surfing with the national team and doing contests.
Yeah, so you go traveling all over the country at this point, the world, or high school? I mean, you going out to like the Philippines and stuff, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so in high school, I went to Brazil, I went to Indonesia. You know, we'd go out to the East Coast to do competitions.
Was Brazil as big of a crazy surf culture as it is now, or yeah?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
It didn't quite. Brazilians have come out in the last 15 years and then like winning world titles. I don't think there had been a Brazilian with a world title when I was a youngster, but there was a couple really good Brazilians on tour. But when we went down to Brazil, even when I was 15 years old, there was like a full surf scene and surfing. You know, a lot of folks were very into surfing down there, and yeah.
So you're in high school, you're competing, you and your brother, you're traveling all over the world, man. That must have been pretty fun.
It was fun. I mean, we were like, I don't know how we got these lofty dreams of like, you know, being a top surfer or going and surfing huge waves, but we just watched those old surf movies and we couldn't help it. We were less, I want to do that. That's what I want to do, you know? And so, I mean, and really surfing to me is like, God, it's just bonkers. I mean, you go out there and these waves come in and you're riding these swells. It's just like, not to be cheesy or anything, but it's just such a unique, I don't even want to call it a sport. You know, it's such a unique activity, and it just hooks you, and you just keep coming back for more. It's kind of crazy.
Well, and there's nothing like it. I mean, you're riding, every single one is completely unique and different. Yeah. I mean, I guess you know, it's so unpredictable. I mean, I shouldn't, you know, in my experience, right? It's just even as the ocean, forget surfing it, just the ocean in general as the platform. It's you know, it's one of the scariest things on the planet, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's constantly changing, and that's what hooks you, because you're checking the surf, you're looking at the wave report, you're always waiting for everything to come together. And like you said, it's like, it's a scary place too. Like the ocean has no sympathy for you. It will beat you and beat you.
It's a fucking pack of lions. It'll eat you alive in front of your family, dude. You know, it doesn't give a shit, man.
Exactly.
I love it, but like, oh my God, you guys that go on them big waves, like you guys are on a fucking another level. You guys came from a spaceship or some shit, because like, it's one of them things where it's like, I'm maybe next life. It's not going to be me. You know, I'm too old now. I suck. You know what I mean? But like, you guys that fucking put the discipline in and had the talents and I can only imagine getting fucking ripping down some double overhead fucking barrel. Like what? You know,
yes.
It sounds insane.
I mean, and that's all just about experience. When you're just out there and you're a little kid and you do it, you put all those hours in, and then you just become more and more comfortable. Then you just it gives you a little confidence. And, you know, I'm sure if you would have been in the water as much as we were when we were kids,
I don't know, maybe not, man. Yeah, I don't think everyone can do everything. I'm never gonna fucking slam dunk, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm 6'4", Keith.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm never gonna slam dunk, dude. That ain't happening.
Well, me neither.
Maybe if I trained or some shit and like really, really, really went psycho, but I don't think so.
I hear ya. And even then, like my oldest brother Chris, the one that moved straight to Hawaii, he was a little off his rocker. And so he was just not afraid to paddle out in anything.
Just a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, a little lunatic. You know, we'd go to the skate park, and he'd end up in a brawl with somebody, getting all bloody, and then you know, next day the waves would be bombing. No one would paddle out. He'd paddle out, and so, but in a way, I was like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. So I had a little bit of, you know, inspiration there, because it's easy to not go out. It's easy to just be like, I ain't going out there, but like, it's also. We all live for that little bit of a rush at the same time, and that nothing feels better than going out on a big day and surviving it, coming back and eating a big brunch or having a beer and celebrating that mission, you know?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I can only imagine on that level. I mean,
Yeah.
I go catch a little shoulder high, fucking catch 6 waves. I earned it that day. And, I'm top dick that day. But
Totally.
like, but I can only imagine bringing it to a level where,
Yeah.
you and your peers were kind of,
Yeah.
just psychotic shit, but it's like MMA fighting. You could say the same thing, which I don't do. But like, those people are usually the humblest, like, the good ones, they're pretty dialed and peaceful and calm. And when they need to, it's just they're just, they're on another level.
No, I hear you on that. It's like if I think for guys, yeah, speaking of guys that you could beat anybody down, it's like they have that level of confidence where they can, be really cool and kind because they know what they got in their back pocket. You know what I mean? They don't have to puff their chest out and be,
Right.
trying to prove themselves, So
Yeah.
I've always appreciated folks like that.
So you guys are ripping around competitions,
Yeah.
fucking Brazil, a guy, I can only imagine just traveling all over the United States.
Yeah, it's pretty
How
crazy.
long
Like
did you do that?
my parents would be like, "All right, see you later," and go to Indonesia to compete in something for 2 weeks or 3 weeks at age 15, or like,
Whoa.
and then all of a sudden got our driver's license at 16 and started doing pro events around the world, and we'd show up in Australia and be on the wrong side of the road in a stick shift at 17 years old, driving 5 hours in Western Oz. I mean, it was.
Wow.
I look back on it and I'm like, ah, dang, man, I'm glad we pulled that off.
So you guys had a full freaking career before you even went pro. It sounds like, I mean, like,
Well, so like
just that amateur.
so yeah, I think like in the amateur days, we were kind of off to the races with that, and then I think I got my first Surfer magazine cover shot when I was like 17, something like
Wow,
that.
cool.
Which was pretty cool as a youngster
Yeah,
to
it's real cool.
show up on the cover of a magazine. And then from then on, yeah, and it was so interesting because we were like, yeah, we were there when Bob Hurley started Hurley and part of that whole deal for quite a while. And the surf industry was booming back then, man. Like in the late 90s and early thousands, it was just like kind of interesting. Like these days, the professional guys, it's harder for guys to make living surfing now than it was back then. And it was kind of like, yeah, we were lucky to be going full force at a time when that industry was doing well. Yeah.
Well, what it was also pre-internet too, right? And
Yes.
and also or right around this, like, it wasn't what it is now.
No, it was crazy. We would go on a surf trip and the photographer would give us a plastic bag full of all the film, and we would take it, deliver it to the surf magazine, and then wait a month until they got all the things back. And then we would just open the magazine and see if we made it in there. Whereas like now it's like same day, it's posted, it's going viral, or no one cares, whatever, but it's like, it's instant, and there was times when we lost rolls of film and all sorts of stuff like that,
Now you're getting into being into the pro level, and what was that that must have been did that feel like much of a transition, or you were kind of surfing at that level with those kind of people already?
Yeah, I mean, we'd all kind of been into a cool level with, it wasn't long before we met Kelly Slater and Shane Dorian and all these guys, and we all clicked because we all were on the North Shore of Oahu trying to surf big waves at a pretty young age. So like you take note of who else is willing to do it, and so we had a really cool crew of guys, and I guess our generation, I guess they call it the momentum generation. We did all the Taylor Steele movies. And it was like we had a mean pack of guys that just charged hard and all pushed each other, and like everyone kind of excelled. And there's no doubt that was like helpful for all of us.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean?
Diamonds sharpen diamonds, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a saying or if that's even true.
Yes.
But like, it sounds all right. You get my point. Like,
Yeah.
I think just you guys pushing each other,
Yeah.
having that, always, because it's easy to chill and dial it back a little.
Yes. No, it's so cool to have had a group like that was just so motivated and, and pushing it really hard. And so that helped. And yeah, of course, Kelly Slater, best surfer of all time history, was leading the pack. So that's just going to push everybody. And yeah, and then so Dan and I, you know, there was a little while there where I was like, we were never like the hardcore competitors. We like to do the surf travel trips and explore and surf the big wave spots. And like Dan and I both, you know, ended up doing well in professional contests. But like at one point I was like, I think I'm just going to surf big waves and travel. I'm not going to do the contest. Cause I was doing well, but I don't know. It wasn't like my main priority. And then I'd go do one and do well. And then I'd kind of get hooked again and be stuck in that deal. So we had like an interesting careers because we could kind of surf the big waves, surf the contests, do the aerials, and cover all the bases. We weren't the best in the world at any of them, but we could kind of keep up in any of three of those different avenues. So, and then my older brother Chris he blew out his knee at Pipeline and decided to make a surf movie, and he's always been a real creative guy. And
how old are we talking now at this point?
So we were probably in like our mid-20s when Chris blew out his knee, and he's like, well, I got 6 months. Let's make a surf film. And ended up making, so I mentioned Taylor Steele. He was making the high action punk rock music type of surf film, which we all loved and watched a million times. But then Chris, when he decided to make a film, he said, I'm going to shoot it in 16. It's going to have a lot more storytelling. And so it was pretty interesting. After no one really seeing a classic style old school surf movie, my brother Chris made Thicker Than Water, which was storytelling and shot in film in a whole different thing than Taylor Steele. And they both, you know, they're both really neat ways to show surfing. But it was kind of, I think Chris's film won Surf Movie of the Year, his first one he ever made. And so then,
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And so then, you know, I guess it's just a little unorthodox how my brothers and I did it all. And you know, we ended up all kind of working on film, and, you know, we ended up working for Patagonia and doing a lot of films for those guys.
So are you guys still, I mean, I know your brother blew his knee out.
Yeah.
Made that video.
Yeah.
Are you still surfing on a pro level at
Yes.
that point?
Yeah. So that was like pretty early on, you know. I mean, the last year I did the tour though, this will put a date on me, but was 2000. And that was when the last year I did the the world tour surfing events. And then, but after that, I was like 10, still had a decade in me of like full travel the world, surf 100%, you know, and then my brother Dan as well. But yeah, at some point I was like, I actually broke my ankle surfing, or my leg. And then I was like, I was going to miss a bunch of events, and then I'd have to requalify to get back on tour. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm done competing. I like competing. It's fun, but I like testing myself. Like there's a neat thing about that, but I'm also like not cut out, like, you know, kind of almost like the jock type of surfer who's like, all they care about is competition. I mean, like I said, surfing is almost not even a sport. It's such a special, unique thing. And we were lucky in the surf world because we had the opportunity to not compete and still have a professional career.
Yeah.
And I was kind of pulled towards that.
And where are you living at in this, when all this is happening? Are you down in Hawaii?
Yeah. So my brothers and I, we rented a neat little house right on the north shore of Hawaii at Rocky Point. And so we had a base there. And then in Ventura, we had like a little apartment down on the beach, not on the beach, near the beach, that we also shared. So we're kind of pinballing, but realistically traveling so much, you know, that were always kind of on the move. But we had a little spot in Ventura where we grew up surfing, and we had a great little spot on the north shore of Oahu where we spent most of the winters. So
Yeah,
just
that
traveling
sounds-
a lot.
Sounds like you had a pretty good gig going, man. Living in right by Hawaii must have been great. How was it? What was it welcoming when you guys moved down there?
I mean, it was amazing. It was we like I said, we buddied up with a bunch of the young guys that we kind of know them through surfing, and but then again, we're just two little blonde boys on the north shore of Oahu with a lot of big gnarly dark Brunotts there that like you know it was like you got to watch your P's and Q's.
Sure.
Very, very close. And
Right.
and we grew up where there's a lot of localism too, so we were tuned into that. So we did just fine in Hawaii. But like, yeah, there's our group of friends, and we had friends that were like, you know, from Hawaii and even had some Hawaiian blood in them, and it was a great group. And then there's always the elders there where like you really don't want to screw up with those North Shore locals back in the day. It was serious. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I've been down there once, and it was just what a cool spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Where did you
yeah,
go? Were you right on the North
I went
Shore?
down- yeah, when I was doing a video back in the day with Bon Appetit, we went down there and
Was that
they
with
had a
Kimmy?
fixer.
Was it with Kimmy?
Yeah,
Wong?
so it was the same series. I went down there and met up with Kimmy. We did a little. She was the first person I ever went spearfishing with, which was such an honor, and she's such a sweetheart.
Nice. She was just here.
yeah,
She was just here at my house,
Oh, beautiful.
and we talked about you.
Oh, my ears were ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's great, man. Her and Justin are wonderful, and
Awesome.
yeah, that was just that was such a great trip.
Yes.
Yeah, and like I said, that was got to see the North Shore a little bit. Our fixer had some. He was a pretty, I guess, well-known guy down there.
Yeah.
Rico.
Yeah.
Rico,
Yeah, I
if
know
you're
Rico.
listening.
Yep.
Yeah, Rico
Yep.
Jimenez, I think was his last
He's a
name.
good pipe surfer. Yeah.
Uncle Rico, man. Yeah, he was a nice dude.
Yes.
So he kind of just showed us around the island, and
Perfect.
yeah, it was a blast.
Nice.
So it sounds, yeah, you were down there for a bit, man. Do you still go to Hawaii often? Or?
So I go a couple times a year. Usually, yeah, pop in and out. I love going. I have a lot of friends there. Last winter we premiered one of our new films on the North Shore, and that's a good excuse for me to go spend a week there.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'm gonna go in October, hopefully this year, and bring the family because we have
Nice.
family friends with kids too there. So like, yeah, I love it there. Like if I didn't live here in the Central Coast, California, I would probably maybe live in Hawaii. It's just nice there.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
get
easy
it.
to be outside and active and in the water, and a lot of great things about it. So we love to go visit.
Yeah, fair enough, man. So you guys living in Hawaii for how long before you are you surfing? I know you left the pro scene as far as competing goes, but you guys are still living down in Hawaii, and you mentioned getting
So basically, we were living there on and off for 20 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we
making
stayed.
videos.
Yeah, after I quit the competition, we spent a lot of time. We always spent a lot of time on the North Shore and continued to have our place there. Gosh, I wonder when we let it go finally. But about 10 years ago, we probably let that place go. And then, yeah, all of us started families here in California. And
Right.
part of me wishes we just kept it, but
Well-
we still have great friends there and go visit and have places to stay. But yeah, so after the competitions end, we just kind of continued. My thing became going to the far north and the far south, surfing spots that no one had ever surfed before, or maybe just a handful of people had surfed. And no matter what, when you go there, you pretty much know you're going to be the only one you see surfing there. And a lot of places are just out in the middle of nowhere, so you might not see another human or maybe one fishing boat going by. But I really got into traveling to the cold destinations because a lot of the tropical destinations have become really crowded, You go down to Indonesia.
Well, it's cozy. It's a tropical
Yes.
fucking paradise usually.
Exactly. And for me, the wetsuits have gotten so good, so comfortable. And I just have never shied away from the cold. So kind of a neat opportunity to go surf spots that no one's ever surfed before. Some of these spots no one will ever surf again. And it's kind of neat to explore places like that because you're not blowing up somebody's surf spot, you know, if you go document it or whatever. There's a lot of...
Not that tropical spots aren't, because, you know, they certainly can be for sure.
Yes.
But it's a cool journey too, man.
Yeah.
To just go, you know, to get out there and find these cool spots. And
Yeah.
I mean, there must have been, it's a hard thing to plan and travel too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get out there and what if it's, you know, blowing 30 miles an hour in the wrong direction or something? You know?
Yes. You'd be surprised too, like, so all way south and way north, the tides are just so much more drastic. So then your period of time is shorter for the waves to be good sometimes because it has to be that medium tide and that goes by in a couple hours. And yeah, obviously it's just raw and exposed on a lot of these places. So it's trickier.
So you talking North America? You see North and South, like Alaska and like
so like
Chile or something?
Exactly. Yeah. So like so as far as north, Russia, I've done a trip out there, Iceland, Norway, Ireland, where else?
Just the middle of fucking nowhere.
The Aleutians. Yeah.
Cool.
And the neat thing
Beautiful,
about that is you go up there in a lot of these spots, you're seeing bears on the beach, you're seeing eagles, you know,
Whales,
come down
probably.
and pick fish. You're fishing off the boat and catching halibut. Like all that stuff for me is I love that side of it. All the wildlife and all the fishing and, you know, and camping on the beach, whatever it may be, like it's an adventure. It's a real adventure, you know what I mean? So that's part of the reason why I love it. Yeah.
And you kind of that segued into, I mean, I know your brother made that smasher of the surf video. Then you guys didn't stop there. You know, you guys really kind of buckled up and kind of started making some pretty awesome documentaries. I mean, some of my favorites. And I mean, talk to me a little about how you guys really got rocking and rolling with that. Your brother was, he was like, that must have fired him up winning, you know, some awards for his video. And
definitely. Yeah. And so being a surfer and being in front of the lens so much, I mean, basically on these trips we would do, you become best buds with the cinematographers and you really kind of learn how that all works. And so for us, we had a little bit of an education on how film works and how to capture these moments. And, you know, before you know it, you have some good ideas. And so that was kind of a way for us to understand the whole film process. And so we kind of had a little head start there and started making surf films and things. And yeah, I mean, next thing you know, we're, you know, kind of in cahoots with the companies we're surfing for and working on films because it is also just a fun artistic outlet, you know? It's like creating a film like that. It's a lot of hard work and can go bad or couldn't go good, but it's kind of fun to be like, all right, what's the next? What are we going to work on next, you know? And then are
you guys shooting and editing it in the early days or still, or?
So I shot a fair amount of 16 mil and I like to shoot the water stuff. But generally, to be honest, we'd hire our buddies and just be with them and carrying their tripods for them. And there's something, you know, to that. I think it's kind of funny because like there's amazing filmmakers that do it the whole thing themselves, but I like leaving some of that, you know, let the expert do that, and you're like creating the vision with them. But
I love it. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's God bless the folks that can do it all.
Yeah.
But like, I'm with you. I mean, it takes so many different skill sets and time, and
sure,
I relate that to like making a YouTube video. And all mine are pretty long format.
Yeah,
I don't edit a thing, you know.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
I mean, monetarily, I probably wish I did, but like, not really. You know what I mean? Because like, it's just the cost of business, you know, to like be able to run something.
Yeah.
Like and have expenses.
Yes.
But yeah, having running the show. I mean, listen, there's probably like, to your point, and to my point too. I mean, like camera operators, like unless you're doing that like full time, you know what I mean? Like, and that's like all like it's how there's always going to be somebody that's better, and if it's just a side hobby that you do every now and then, and if you guys got the budget for it and can make these high end products, then like yeah, let's put the Avengers together
For sure, yeah. And it's like I'm surprised I got this computer working this morning to get on here with you and chat with you. Like I am a dinosaur when it comes to technology, and I know it. So that's good. I let my buddies that excel at that, and obviously we're just creating this whole story together. And I like what I listened to an interview with Rick Rubin the other day, and that guy's so amazing. And he's like, yeah, I don't know how to run one piece of equipment we use. He's like, he sits on the couch and listens and nods his head and said, just do more of this, do more of that. So like, I was like, okay, well, I would never compare myself to anybody like that, but it's cool to know that like that guy's has no technical skills. He just knows what he likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone for the most part will tell you like a good team is, is makes or breaks it sometimes. Like especially if you just want to. It's one thing to just hold your phone and put together a little TikTok diddler or something,
Right.
but like if you want to start making a bigger, longer product or like documentaries like you guys are doing, it'd be crazy to do it by yourself,
Right. Yes.
And yeah, I mean, like you've worked on so many cool films too, man, between you and your brothers. I mean, The Fish People. What was it? Your recent one that you did? What was it? Life of Kai was the most recent one or no?
So Life of Kai was last couple years. It was like probably 2023, 2024. And then lately we've been doing the Yeti films. We just released one yesterday or the day before it's called Let Me Live. And it's Tom Lowe, who's this Englishman that's become one of the biggest crazy chargers on the planet. And so yeah, that was the latest film. It's a Yeti film. We just released it, and then like 2 months ago we released another film with Yeti on a guy named Shane Ackerman. Just happens to be the last two films we've done have been on big wave surfers.
Yeah, what was that guy's name from the UK? Rob Lowe, you said?
Tom Lowe.
Tom Lowe.
I
think I've seen him like on social media or he's a psychopath, right? As far as like taking these.
Yes, he's got sleeves of tattoos up to here. He's got like this long hair, but he is the most humble, sparkle in the eye, like neat guy I've ever met. What's crazy is he just was in Tahiti and had a near-death experience surfing like 3 weeks ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Almost drowned?
Yeah, he was out. They had to resuscitate him, and he survived.
Yikes.
And thank God. And he's the name of the film is Let Me Live. You might have to check it out. He's such a special guy. Yeah. And anyways, thank God he lived through that. And then I've just been chatting on the text with him just because his film we worked on is released. So that's kind of the silver lining. He's very excited about the film coming out. But
well, he just got smashed on a big wave and held under.
So
we don't have to get into it.
He was at Chopu, Tehopu, however you want to say it, and in Tahiti, and sounded like he had a big one. Ate it.
What's big? I mean, what are we talking big?
I mean, like the scariest wave you've ever seen in your life.
I've never seen. I just want to go to a place like that and see people surf and just see that fucking wave.
I mean, you can
even pipe smashing.
Yes,
like, Jesus,
you got to see it. And in Tahiti, there at that spot, you can sit in a boat and be relatively safe and just watch these caverns break. I mean, and also pipeline. You can be on the beach there and it just breaks right in front of you. But I mean, put it this way: there's not a surfer in the world that doesn't paddle out at that Tehopu wave when it's big and just kind of shit their pants. I mean, the way it comes in.
You have to.
Paddling into that thing, it seems like it's There's no way you can make that wave.
I mean, for people that aren't any familiar at all, I mean, give me a rough footage. Are we talking 20, 30 foot waves here?
We're talking 20, 30 foot, but the amount of power in that wave
It's so
is
heavy.
hard to explain, because you could surf a 50-foot wave somewhere else, but that wave in Tahiti being 20 to 30, it's so thick and powerful, and like it gets so shallow on the takeoffs that it's like, I mean, it feels like a mountain is rolling over on you. I mean, it's really hard to explain, but it's, even as like a lifetime surfer and someone that surfs big waves, you paddle out there and you got to talk yourself into paddling into a big one, because it is nuts. It's nuts.
Dude, I could only imagine. I mean, it is one of the fact that people surf waves like that is mind-boggling. Like it gives me goosebumps hearing you talk about it, and like I'm never going to do that. And it's so. I would be so scared. I mean, just to get in the water and it's one thing to look at it at the beach, right? I can only imagine. But then like to lay on a board, paddle out there, and just actually, it must look like a pocket. It must look like, oh my God. I guess you can't. I mean, tell me about that. You must have to just full commit or get the fuck out of the water.
You do. I mean, yeah, it like I said, even for the most experienced big wave surfer in the world, some those waves are just like, because you got so much water moving, especially, you know, the big waves that break in the deeper water, depending on the size, but like, at least you know you just got to hold your breath.
Right.
When it's on the reef, you hit your head, you get knocked out. There's nothing you can do. Plus, those reefs, you just shred you to bits. So, in ways, those slabby reefs, in my opinion, are scarier than the tall waves that break out further, you know. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's all about, part of it's too is being at that age where you're like, kind of think you're invincible. You're like, I'll be fine. Like, you know, that age gap from about 17 to 25, when you think like, I can't get hurt, you know. And then after that, you still do it, but you're a little smarter and you're a little more calculated. But
well, you'd have to be able to do that. Otherwise, so like I must have missed that fucking gene or something, because like, and all that shit just seems like such a, like, you got to be a little crazy, man, like in the best way. But
yes,
like surfing those big waves, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, you guys did it for so long. I mean, I guess you got out of it. I mean, you got to,
yeah.
at some point, be able to, it's like any extreme sport, right? You got to get out while you still can at some point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I don't know. Kelly Slater surfed for like fucking 70 years. I mean,
I know he's still going strong too. He'd still paddle out on some big days, and I'd still paddle out on some big days for sure. But yeah, at some point, like when you're really, for me at least, when I'm really doing that, you have to feel mentally and physically on key, on par to really, for me at least, I couldn't paddle out there if I didn't feel like I was in fighting shape. You know what I mean? On the really, really big days, start having kids, and, you know, your work is busy. And back in the day when we'd surf huge waves all the time, it was like we were literally surfing 360 days a year, hardly missing a day the entire year. And so, you know, that gives you a lot of confidence. You know, you're like, yeah, I got this.
Fuck yeah.
Nothing can beat me down. And you still go out there and shit your pants, but like, no, you're going to end up on the beach at the end of the day, I guess.
Dang, what a cool journey, man. And it's awesome to be able to capture some of that stuff now on with the films you're doing and stuff. Even outside of surfing, I mean, you guys just make some really cool stuff, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I started my own production company almost 10 years ago now. It's called,
yeah, what's the name of it again? I never say it right.
By Marion Films. By Marion. So by Marion means a vessel from two different seas. It's just a lost word basically that we found and have realized it's kind of hard to pronounce. Like,
no, but once you say it, I really like it. By Marion's.
By Marion Films. And so, yeah, we've been lucky to stay on a roll. We kind of started not too long.
Well, you say we. Was it you and your one brother or all three?
No, actually, to be honest, so I have a film production company up in Santa Barbara, and my brother Chris has his down in Los Angeles. And we work together on a lot of things, but we have actually our 2 different companies at this stage in the game. And so our producer is a great friend of mine named Brett Williams, and our DP and editor Andrew Schoenberger. Us 3 started it together basically.
Right.
But it was kind of neat because we had a pretty tight crew, and we started it before COVID, and actually it worked to our advantage to have a small crew back then and be able to just travel anywhere with a tight crew. And yeah, we kind of specialize on the short documentary style films.
Yeah, I love it. Listen, I love a good run and gun style.
Yeah.
I think you really
Yeah.
get you into the cracks a little bit, right? And I find it, especially when you're shooting with other people,
Yes.
right, who aren't there for, who aren't part of the crew, right?
Right.
It's unnatural to talk in front of a camera,
Right.
It's at least I think it is.
Sure.
I mean, most people, I think in the world would find it to be quite uncomfortable. You got to be a little bit of a lunatic to want to talk in front of a camera, right?
Totally, yes. That's what I
But
feel
yeah,
like.
heck yeah.
I feel like for me, my strengths is getting to know folks and getting comfortable with them, and eventually interviewing people. Like I really enjoy that aspect of it, and like that's at this stage in the game. I love making surf movies. I love making hunting films. You name it. But like it's the people and the personal stories they have that intrigue me, and I really, enjoy that part of the process is figuring folks out, getting their story, and telling them. Yeah.
It's the best, man, and I think that's why most people love that, whether you create it or listen to it. I mean, it's why I do this podcast or most of the YouTube stuff. It's like it's that human element and that's how other people's stories and passions, and I mean it's the best, right?
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I nothing like cracking a beautiful story of some amazing human, and then in most cases I end up being friends with them for the rest of my life, so it's kind of fun.
Well, I mean, what else can you ask for, right? Well, it's like the best job in the world,
Yes. Lucky bastards for sure.
Yeah. So now you living back up in California, right?
Yeah.
And so you got a house pretty close to the beach now, or?
Yeah, I'm like I'm actually just a couple miles from the beach. I
love that.
in a neat spot. We're our house is just totally off the grid, so actually we're using Starlink right now. I hope it doesn't screw anything up as far as the podcast goes. But
no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Elon, if you're listening, you're fucking weirdo. But if you want to sponsor the show, we'll run Starlink. That's fine.
Perfect. But yeah, so we got a neat spot in the back of this canyon, and we got our own well, and
Fuck yeah.
and it's great. So my wife is a huge animal person.
Heck yeah. So you guys got a little land or something?
Yeah, we got about 30 acres, and we have horses, and I mean we could have any animal at any time, but right now we have 5 dogs, 7 cats, 12 chickens.
Stop it. 5 dogs?
Yeah. 6 horses. We have domestic pigs. We have a donkey, and then actually we raise our own grass-fed beef. So we have not right here on our property, but down the coast a little. We have a cattle lease with 35 mother cows, and so we breed the cattle every year. And
do you sell it, or is it just for personal consumption?
No, we sell grass-fed beef here in Santa Barbara.
What's it called? Shout out to anyone listening if you want to get some beef from Keith.
Dos Pueblos Cattle Co. And it's kind of a word of mouth thing. I'm like thinking about it now that I'm telling you. Kind of a word of mouth thing, but yeah, you could hit me up, and it's great stuff. And actually, that's where I just spent the last 3 days. We were gathering cattle and getting a count on cattle and what we wanted to sell and what we wanted to keep. And
cowboy shit.
Yeah,
man.
it's fun. It's become, and like I said, my wife and my kids all love it, and we all get out there and ride the horses and gather the cattle together. And
Oh, that's amazing. Your wife must be a badass.
Oh, she is, for sure. Yeah, she got a degree in animal science. She's a Vermonter, so she's out.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, she's from Vermont. Uh-huh.
Knew I liked her.
Mm-hmm. And
What part of Vermont she grew up in?
Bennington.
Okay.
Yeah, and she went to in Burlington, UVM, is it?
Yeah, Burlington. I don't know. I didn't go to college. I don't know what the names are.
Yeah.
But I know it's a big college town, and Burlington's great, man. Right?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
East Coast cities, right on Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
I think it's Lake Champlain. Good food scene.
Yeah.
It's crunchy. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So anyways, being that my wife loves animals, it allows us to live out in the middle of nowhere, but the animals keep us entertained. And
I was gonna say entertained and fucking busy, Keith.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got all them animals, and you guys, he's cranking out doing videos, and you're a busy man in all types of categories.
yes,
Man,
Well,
that's a lot of work. Just
the family is a crew that helps too. We're all got our chores out here. And
how old are your kids?
14, 10, and 5. And so
All right, so we're working.
yeah, my 14-year-old is learning her work ethic, and so are the other ones. And
Good.
sometimes it's like, God damn it, okay, here we go. But in general, we love it. And thankful we able to pull it off.
Yeah.
A little.
And you mentioned you started getting into doing some hunting, and I don't think you said fishing, but I'm guessing types of videos and stuff like that too. Is that something you do personally?
Oh, yeah.
I know
Yeah, so we've done hunting and spearfishing videos, but also that's stuff I just completely love.
Did you grow up doing that kind of stuff as well?
I mean,
or?
I would go pig hunting with my dad as a kid, and we would hunt quail and dove. I wouldn't say my dad wasn't like a hardcore hunter, but very, at the same time we did go hunting quite often. I don't know, does that make sense? But so I grew up around it.
No,
and
it
did
does.
Yeah, I grew up around it and did it. My dad was one of those dudes that actually liked to fire guns more than go hunting. He had he had a nice array
Little
of
range.
rifles and all sorts of things. So he'd be out there target practicing a lot, and then we'd go shoot some pigs here and there. We'd go dove hunting and quail hunting, whatever. But yeah,
Did you guys cook a lot of it?
oh yeah.
Oh,
For
cool.
me, it's like that's the reason. Big part of it for me is cooking it and eating it. I don't know why. I feel like as humans, it's a natural instinct to want to do that. And it's wild game. It's good for you, and if you're doing it all yourself, it's good and fresh. And I would love to get some recipes for you. I guess I should just watch your stuff, but
Yeah, because I don't have any recipes, man. Other than that book I made, I don't write shit down. I don't even make the same things twice.
that's great.
But
I'll
I just love cooking and
Yeah,
eating.
I know.
We just got to hang out again, man.
So I got to say though, on that hunt we did.
Yeah.
So I just got to say, we pulled up, we all rode horses into the back country. And then your first shot of the entire trip on the first night, I got to be there for it. And it was perfect shot. And that was like, you're under pressure whenever, we had the guides and we all happened to be there together and everybody's watching and you're behind that gun.
First one to drop in, man.
I just have to give you a shout out on that. That was really badass.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could talk about that for a sec. But I also, what the heck was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing like, with hunting and getting your own food. And it's also like, it's the activities, man. It's humbling and the control of the butchering and everything. Yeah. And you mentioned spearfishing, which is something I started to dabble with a bit now and just in the saltwater game, just loving all that, Is that something you did when you were younger, or is that more of a later thing you got into?
So, yeah, we would go out and spearfish. Something my dad did a little as well. So we got, we'd go out there with the 3-prong as youngsters.
Dad was a stud.
Yeah, my dad was. And he did a little bit of everything, He did the Cowboys shit too, which obviously influenced us. His brother was a lifer cowboy, and one of my dad's cousins that we were really close with was just legendary cowboy fella. But anyway, he introduced us to fishing and spearfishing. We'd take us out and we'd go spearfishing, and mostly as youngsters just with the 3-prongs. But as we got older and moved to Hawaii, we got some proper spear guns and just had a liking to it. And then now it's absolutely one of my favorite things in the world is to go spearfishing. Like We have a couple different nice varieties of fish out here, especially this time of year in the summer, and like being out there and plugging a big fish. I mean, you can't I'm even more in the moment doing that than surfing these days, just because I've surfed so much in my life.
Sure.
But if I'm out there in 60 feet of water, swimming through the kelp beds, I mean, it's eye on the prize moment. There's nothing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you're in the moment. So I really, really love spearfishing.
And yeah, for folks that aren't familiar, I mean, it's like, yeah, I think we're both certainly talking about free diving, where it's like you dive down into this world, you hold your breath, and you just got, not like scuba where you're breathing down there.
Yeah.
But you're in there and it gets like eerily quiet, but also oddly weird to certain noises. And you go through and you might as well be in like a science fiction movie or on another planet. Because it really is. I've never experienced it's one of the coolest things ever.
It's a different world. You're basically the equivalent of stepping on the moon or something. Like it's
you can't breathe. You suck at swimming.
Yes.
You're at the bottom of the food chain now. You look like a seal that is injured, for God's sake.
Yes. You're in the food chain there for sure. And I love pole fishing too, but being in the water and in the elements there is something even I love more. Yeah. And it's too, like what are you going after around where you live?
Yeah, it's great, man. My favorite thing and the most common thing that I go after up here in New England is the tog or blackfish. It's kind of like our grouper, I'd say.
Yes.
They get pretty big, 10, I think like 7, 8, 10, 12 pounds or something like that. I've never shot one that big. But,
awesome. Yes.
I've shot a couple hogs.
Nice.
And they're just like this really sweet, firm, gelatinous-y kind of cold water fish, man. And the brilliant white meat. They got teeth like fucking like human teeth. And they just eat crabs and mussels and shit.
Yeah.
And they just hang out in the rocks. And there's a couple seasons for them around here. Pretty shallow water. I mean, at certain times of the year, I think you can get them, like, for God's sakes, you could probably, you could shoot them floating, I think. But for the most part, it's like 10 to 20 feet. And you're maybe even less at sometimes, right? No, about 10 to 20 feet.
But I mean, I would say majority of what I do too off the coast here is same, not super deep. But then we have spots we boat out to, and then that's where you get a little puckered up when you're out there.
Dude, I've done a couple. Like I've done with my buddy Vin. We've done a couple. I haven't shot a tuna or nothing yet, but we go out to like the high flyers.
Yeah,
and you jump in.
That's
and
hardcore.
You shoot some mahi and stuff.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
And then you're in fucking few hundred feet of water.
Exactly.
And it's like just like the beginning of the Gulf Stream, where all of a sudden it looks like the Caribbeans.
Yeah.
And, there's fucking all kinds of terrifying shit lurking around, like.
100%.
But I love it. This year I'm gonna try to hopefully get out with some buds, and I wanna plug a tuna.
Nice.
And get the fuck out. I don't want to see a shark come fucking.
Me neither.
I know. I just don't wanna.
Me neither. I mean, the one thing is what kind of shark you're seeing, because I've seen lots of different kinds, but I do not want to see a big white shark, and I've never been underwater and see one, and I hope I never do.
We're probably gonna. I mean, oh my gosh! My buddy did. He had a big. I think it was a hammerhead come cruising through, and like out by us when you're out deep. I don't think many of the big guys that are coming through. I don't think there's a lot of non-dangerous ones. I mean, they might not be the most aggressive.
Yes.
But I'm assuming they're coming around because there's a feeding frenzy or some blood in the water. And I just don't want it. And I know. I mean, our mutual friend Kimmy.
Yes.
And you probably know Justin Lee, who I haven't talked to in a while. But anyone I've talked to that was pretty serious into the they're just like a big bully, and you gotta, if you act like prey, it's not, don't be scared and flutter away. I guess you gotta keep your composure. And easy to say, I fucking throw my lungs up. Yeah.
Easy to say, harder to do. You turn around and those big old tanks is coming at you.
Gosh.
The goal is to face them, keep your eyes on them, and don't, like you said, scamper away. But easier said than done, that's for sure.
Who knows? I've dove in a couple spots out here for striped bass.
Yeah.
I know around here there's great whites lurking around, and probably out in California by you too. I'm sure.
Heck yeah.
You there was this once.
You can look on the app and you can see the ones they've tagged, and they are right around.
Nah, I don't want to do that, Keith. But I'll tell you a quick story. Last year, I was fishing. Where there's a great little reef structure that goes in between like Fisher's Island and Rhode Island, Watch Hill, that used to be above water, like Sugar Reef and Watch Hill Reef.
Okay.
Anyway, it's this really great fishery that I fish a lot. And one time it was like dead low and the fishing turned off, and we went into this one cove that is just beautiful. I call it Moon Cove just because it's real rocky and whatever. And all of a sudden I was marking, we were in like 15 feet of water, and we were just poking around, and I was marking all like masses amounts of fish. And we were dropping everything down, and we couldn't, they weren't biting. I was trying everything to try to catch these. It was probably just a whole school of striped bass. And so I go back like 2 days later with my buddy, and we jump in, and the visibility's fucked. I mean, you can't see 6 feet, 7 feet, whatever. And I'm kicking around, and I'm seeing, they look like fucking seals. It was just massive striped bass and all types of fish, but you couldn't see them. I had my gun out in front of me.
Yes.
You couldn't see them until like you saw them for like 2 seconds,
Yes, and they're gone.
Murky as hell, and they're fluttering away from you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom, I get a shot, right? And I got a beautiful, man. I stoned him. Perfect slot fish. And I got him. And my buddy said he didn't even see a fucking fish that day. And I was like, yeah, it was tough, man.
Yeah.
And
how good is that feel, though? How good is that?
Oh, it was so rad. And that's a nice, it was like a 32-inch fish, like a nice striped bass.
That's so killer.
Get him up onto the boat, and I'm fired up. And we go back and clean in the boat and stuff. And I was talking to these old timers at the marina, and one of the guys that runs it, and I was telling him about, I went over and I told him where I was, and I shot this fish. He goes, oh yeah, no shit, huh? And I goes, it felt kind of sharky, man. I felt like they were around me, but because the visibility was so bad,
yes,
I couldn't see them.
Yes.
And he goes, yeah, about 2 nights ago, a buddy of mine, this old guy I know, was out striped bass fishing at night, and he was pulling in real nice fish. And he goes, 40-inch plus fish.
Yeah.
And right at the boat, juvenile great white, chomped it right in half.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, that was the exact cove that you were diving.
Holy.
I mean, that don't mean shit, but I mean, just.
That scares me.
I haven't dove there again. Yeah. And like, it's right on that backside, or I call it the front side, but like a fish was there. And it's just a little sharky spot, man.
Yeah. Well,
but I love it. That's why I love the tog and the little, in there, man, it's safe, even if there ain't nothing coming through,
sure.
And it's just beautiful and calm, and I can't wait to get my kids into it.
Yes, 100%. No, those shark stories are no fun. There's a couple of spots around here where guys have been attacked surfing more than once, so it's like, I don't know if I need to surf that spot anymore. But
no, fuck that. Fuck that is right. Cape Cod, fuck you. I'm not going swimming out there nowadays. If there's seals around, nah, I'm good, man. Yeah. Even like a couple spots up in Maine.
Yes.
And like people getting chomped and shit.
If you're gonna be, I mean, you gotta go out and push yourself, but then also if there's been that kind of bad accidents in one place, and you're gonna go out there and just be thinking about that, it's not really that fun.
And if your spidey senses are going up, you know what I never liked is going out like early morning. And it's like, it's a little eerie, and there's nobody fucking out. I know it sounds like a dream if the waves are going, but like, and there's like no one in the water yet. And you're just like sitting on your board, and it just fucking feels like
spooky.
It just gets a little spooky. Yeah. You ever have any shark encounters?
Yeah. I mean, let's see. I went down to the Galapagos Islands and surfed down there, and there's so many sharks in the water at all times. Like, it's just weird. No one's been attacked down there. So you're like, I guess we're good. And we saw sharks every day. I remember I broke my board at one point and kind of like paddled half of it back to the boat. And I got on the boat and turned around, and there's a hammerhead right there. And
just checking you out.
Yeah. But our buddy that ran the boat down there was like, everyone dives here. Everyone, not a ton of surfing, but no problems yet. And so we pretended they were friendly, and they were for the most part. You know what I mean? And
Well, I think for the most part, right? I mean, you have a better chance of dying on the boat ride or in the
Yes.
car ride
Yes.
than the shark.
Exactly.
But like, it's still, it's just they're terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, they're little
Yeah.
fucking just mouths, and they just don't, you
Little
know,
meat
like
grinders.
little fucking little chainsaws, man. Like, and
Or big ones
But for the
even.
most part, you know, they're not really looking for you. You know, I guess, you know, but like.
Half
Don't
the
be a
time they'll spit you
knucklehead.
out. They're looking for steel or whatever, you know.
Don't be a knucklehead like I did one time. I was down in Florida when I first started surfing. Me and my buddy Pat, who I was telling you about.
Yeah.
We got a hot lead on a lot of old vintage surfboards down in
Yes.
Florida
Yes.
from our buddy's girlfriend's fucking stepdad.
Okay.
And he had like these. I say his name wrong. Ben Aipa, the
Ben
Hawaiian.
Aipa. Ben Aipa.
Aipa.
Yes. Ben Aipa.
And there was
That's a
There was a
legendary.
couple of, yeah.
fella.
So we went down and bought like 20 boards, and we were gonna keep a couple, and I think a couple of my buddies still have one.
Nice.
But we were gonna like sell them all or something, you know, and like flip them or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And so we bought them, and we had this like sleazy hotel right on the beach in New Smyrna, and which is where the guy Bob lives, who we bought him. Bob was a fucking cheese ball, and but apparently he liked surfing and had all these boards. But I get on my board one morning because we were right out and there was waves. I was like, Pat, let's go surfing, right?
Yeah.
And we paddle out, and it was a long paddle out, and not a single person
Got it.
around, just like six, like for a mile you could see. It was maybe like a handful of fishermen, you know.
Nice. Nice.
And all of a sudden, and there were some nice waves, had a couple nice little diddlers, and I saw a couple dolphins, you know, no big deal. Very, very unique kind of dorsal fin arc and approach out of the water. And then I'm sitting there, Keith, and like maybe 15 yards away, there's a fin that I'm not bullshitting. You know, it's not like I'm not like, you know, fucking measuring my dick here. Like, this thing was like 16 inches out of the water.
Oh
And
my
it
God.
It wasn't an arc, and it was just like this.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then it just went under as it
Wow.
passed me. And I'm just like, this thing's going to come underneath my board, and I'm going to see its back that's going to look like a fucking gorilla. And it's just going to scrape the bottom of my board. It's going to flip me over. It's going to bite me, and I'm going to die. I'm going to be the guy from New York who's down here and, you know, surfing in some stupid spot who gets bit by a shark.
Oh,
But I didn't see it. And then a wave came, and I just fucking bellied it in on the board. And I go running out, and there's a fisherman there. I go, holy shit, man, there's a huge shark out there. And it's this old timer. He had a fucking heater hanging out of his mouth. And he goes, no shit, asshole.
no
So
way.
I always
Oh
got
my
a kick
God.
out of that.
That's heavy. That's heavy. I got one more
not
shark
really.
story for you if you want to.
Please tell me, fucking my God.
So we went over to New Zealand, and I was actually it was my brothers. We went for our good buddy's wedding there, and we had our wives with us, and we fly all the way over there, and we got a cool little house down by the beach, and a place called Marawai. Is that right? I think so. Anyways, so we get there, we go straight to the ocean, wash off the plane ride, and there's nobody on the beach. It's myself, my wife, and my brother Dan and his wife. And my brother Chris and his wife, they went into town to go to the bank or something. So anyways, we all jump in this water. It's pretty small waves, and we swim around for half an hour. Water's just wonderful, beautiful. We're all kind of done swimming. We're walking out of the water, and this guy comes down with his goggles and his Speedo, and we go, "Hey, man, how are you doing?" He's, you know, just like a, hey, how are you? And he was the only kind of other person on the beach, and he went out. We came in. Well, this dude, poor fella, he swam out there, and so we walked off the beach. He swam out.
Right where you were swimming.
I mean, right where we were swimming. I think
And
he
what,
made
fucking
it out.
guy got chomped, Keith?
Dude, he got chomped.
died?
He died. It was the craziest. I was the last guy to talk to him ever, and we were in the water right where he swam out. He did swim out further than we were, I'm sure. But we got back up into the parking lot and walked to this little cafe,
Gosh.
and we just started hearing sirens. And then all of a sudden, we were like, what's going on? And my brother Dan and I kind of were like, I don't know if this is good or bad, but we're like, let's run down to the beach and see what's going on. Maybe
Someone's drowning.
Who knows? Maybe we can help.
Right.
This is out of a movie. Sorry, it's true. So So we get down to the beach and we see these cops coming down the beach. They get in the lifeguard boat and go out with their machine guns. And this is true. We saw it. They're shooting at the shark with the body in its mouth that's swimming around about 100 yards out to sea. We're hearing gunshots. We're just like, and so that was like, it was one of the craziest things I've ever witnessed in my life. And the shark actually let go of the body, and they retrieved it and brought it back in. And
you're seeing all this?
We are seeing it. I remember when we started hearing
water
the
turns
gunshots.
red and fucking Jesus Christ, this guy comes up looking all chomped up.
Yeah. I mean, it's out of a movie. I mean, you could look it up. Wow. It happened about 10 years ago or less.
What kind of shark was it? Tiger?
They actually said there was a variety of shark bites of different sharks.
Frenzy.
And the other crazy thing about it is there'd never been a shark attack in New Zealand since 1974. Like, his very
What do you have, a fucking London broil in his fucking Speedo? Like, Jesus Christ.
I don't know what. Maybe he did. But
damn.
And then this is what happened.
Horrible.
We're at the beach there for another week for this wedding, and they closed
go swimming again?
No, they closed the beach. We couldn't even go on the sand. And we have beach house in New Zealand. We had to drive 2 hours away to get in the ocean because it was such a dramatic thing for the whole country. It was on the news.
Right.
I had CNN calling me, trying to interview me about it, and I just said, hey, I don't know. I mean, it was a neat guy that passed away. It was just a sad story. And I'm like,
how old do you think he was?
He was probably like 50. He actually worked in the film industry in New Zealand. And I don't know too much more about him, but I do know that we walked over the sand dunes and we're eating at this little restaurant, and like his wife and kids were there too while he was swimming.
Gosh.
It was just a brutal, sad, but like, talk about straight out of the movie Jaws. That we were right there. It was the most bizarre thing.
Wow, man. That's like, you must have feel like, that's like getting off the plane before it crashes. Like, you guys, like, it could have just been you.
It really was. It was.
Or your kid, or Jesus Christ almighty. Yeah. I mean, not to belittle the man and his family, my gosh, but
near death.
Boy, it's like missing a bullet.
Yes. So anyways, kind of a crazy dramatic story, but that's my best shark story. So I just had to throw it out there. But
that's a fucking pretty heavy one, Keith.
Well, when the cops are shooting at the cop with AK or like semi-automatics in the dinghy chasing the shark with the shark. Anyways,
gosh,
wacky stuff. I hope I never have to encounter anything like that again.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man. Yeah. Well, fuck. Well, guess what? Why don't we let's end it on your shark story, because it's phenomenal, and I've taken up enough of your time already.
Yeah,
Keith, we gotta hang out again, man, and do a hunt, do a surf. I know I was telling you about when we were hanging out in California, cooking wild hog and riding horses together.
Yes,
with our buddy Sloan from Turtle Box there. Yes. Shout out to Sloan and the Turtle Box folks.
Heck yeah, good folks for sure.
Had a blast, man. But I want to bring my kids out to California. Maybe this fall or something. If you're around,
man,
maybe take a dive or something.
Come see us. We could show you guys a really good time, catch a few waves, and I would love to hang out.
We'll see what the forecast is. I'm surfing with you lunatics.
Oh, it's all mellow around here. It's all fun and we're not taking you up to Mavericks. Don't worry.
Mavericks, yeah. That's how far away from that are you guys?
Oh, Mavericks is up by San Francisco, so it's about 5-hour drive. But we used to go up there quite a bit, and we'll keep it mellow out here on the Central Coast and have some fun.
Yeah.
But I'm so stoked to get to chat with you about everything, and looking forward to the next time we get to hang out again.
Oh my God, thank you for your time. And again, I know. If you make it out east again, but I'd love to bring you diving, fishing, hang out, cook a meal together.
100%.
Open door always.
Yes.
Also, before I forget, it's a segment I call Before I Forget, because I always forget a couple questions, and it's just this little fucking speed round of things I wanted to ask you throughout the interview, maybe, or even reoccurring little fun ones.
Yeah.
We'll start off with a quick little tip for anyone wanting to get into surfing and maybe doesn't have a mentor or the best accessibility?
Yeah. I would say, okay, if there is a shot at getting someone to help you or a little surf school, that can help a lot because you want the right board. You want to start on a big board, big round nose longboard, and you want soft wave. So usually if you can do that on your own, find out where the spot is to go to learn to surf, get a big old board and go for it. If you can get someone to coach you a little bit, that could go a long ways.
It's worth it. Take a few lessons.
You'll
worth
learn
it. So much.
Because this is what happens if you go out on the wrong day with the wrong board. You can have a horrible experience, so may never want to go surfing again. So
you can also get hurt, man. Like you were saying before, it's
So do yourself a favor.
or hurt someone else. Like
True. Yes.
You got that big 10-foot board.
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're throwing it into someone else's face.
Exactly. And then the other thing is putting in your time. It's not going to come easy. It's not going to come overnight.
Right.
But cherish those moments where you get a little ride or you feel it. And then, surfing can be one of those things that takes longer to really figure out than almost any other sport. So hang in there and put in the hours if you really want to do it.
Great advice. Yeah. You a coffee drinker?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
All right. Do you put black or you do a dairy product?
I do a little half and half.
Half and half kind of guy. Yeah. Keith,
little half.
Knew I loved you, buddy.
Yeah, no sugar, just a little.
It's a superior coffee cream product.
I feel that
for
way.
Sure.
I feel that way. What's your program?
Yeah, coffee. I do a little scotia of maple syrup and a little bit of half and half.
Sometimes I do a little honey, a little local honey, or a little maple syrup if I'm in party mode.
Feeling a little fun.
But I do it in the percolator too. It goes, it comes from the bottom, goes up in the top chamber. That's
I do. It's what's it called? Something Chemex, not Chemex. It's a Mocha Master. Okay. Little drip kind of percolator. And it's delightful. I love it in the morning. But I love that you're a half and half guy.
Yeah.
Scariest or biggest, or maybe these are two different things. Biggest and scariest wave.
So there's been a few, definitely. But speaking of Mavericks, up the coast, my brother Dan and I were out there on one of the biggest swells ever, and it was
Mavericks is this big, scary, fucking heavy open ocean wave, right?
Yes, near San Francisco. The town is actually Half Moon Bay. Surf spot's called Mavericks. It's one of the biggest, best, incredible big waves in the world. And my brother Dan and I caught it on one of the biggest swells of all time. Maybe there's been maybe a couple bigger ones now, but we basically went out there in the morning and came in the dark and got some of the biggest rides of our life, some of the scariest moments of our life. Because at one point, I towed Dan, because it was jet skis. It was that big, you can't paddle it, right? So I towed Dan into a wave, and he kicked out. And then the biggest set of the day came, and I had to whip around and go in and grab him before it hit him. And it sounds kind of lackluster, but he and I, it was this very serious, heavy moment. And so that was one of the heaviest moments of my life for sure.
Well, you time that wrong, or if you just mess it up a little, you're talking life or death situation potentially.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like, a 60-foot wave is going to apex on your head. And we were able to get out of there by literally 1 second, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways,
God, and maybe what would be the biggest one you ever think you fucking had the balls to drop in on?
Yeah. So that day was some of our biggest waves ever, and then I've gotten days on the North Shore of Oahu, outer log cabins. It was a very similar, huge wave. Those were probably the biggest rides of my life. Yeah.
Well, like 20, 30 feet or something like that?
I mean, probably bigger than that. More like
fucking Jesus.
50. Maybe.
Go fuck yourself, Keith.
50-foot fakes. There's weird in surfing, it's judged kind of crazy, but the faces of the wave, yeah.
That's psycho.
Probably in the 50-foot range, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one more. Last meal, if you had to pick one.
Jeez.
I know it sucks.
No, it's good though. I mean, I've been
Right now, don't think too hard.
Yeah.
If you,
I've been doing these pork ribs on the Santa Maria barbecue, and I have, I smoke them with the lid, and that's been that's got it. With a little homemade fresh coleslaw,
yep,
I pretty much can't beat that right now.
good to go. That sounds great. I'm starving, actually. Well, Keith, thank you, man. We'll chat soon, buddy, and thank you again for chatting and sharing some stories with me on my show here. We'll lay it on, bud. You laid it on this time.
Yes.
And we love you, bud. We'll be chatting soon.
Heck yeah, Brad, so cool to chat with you, and I look forward to hanging with you in the future, and enjoyed chatting with you today.
This episode was produced by Brad Leone and Carolyn Gagnon in partnership with Studio 71. It was edited by Kate Brunotts with music by Harrison Menzel.